Hello, welcome to the channel. It's Allison here at Allison Appreciates, and we're gonna chat about where your attention goes, energy flows, which can go towards any area of our lives where we're seeking improvements. And we know that to seek an improvement means that source is already lined up with said improvement. As soon as we experience negative emotion, source is on it. Source wants what we want. Source wants, God, universe, wants us to be happy. So the second we feel negative emotion, every single time, source knows what we want, right? Source knows us better than we know ourselves. Source goes to the end of our desire. And that's why we feel negative emotion, because we don't go with source. When we go with source and we're flowing in our knowing and we're feeling good, source is right there with us. It doesn't matter if the thing we want is standing right in front of us in our outer reality, or the 3D, as everyone in the space likes to call it. I prefer outer reality, but I get the lingo. So if it's no matter what, if it's standing in front of us in our 3D, or if it's alive and flourishing in our imagination, what Neville calls the most important place, it doesn't matter. Source sees that and knows that we are on it, knows that we are looking in the direction of our desires, experiencing it in our imagination, or having it in full-blown manifestation. Irrelevant which one of those ones it is. If we are doing it and source is doing it and we're together on it, then we have it. We have it and we feel good because source and us are on the same side in that one. And of course, we're never not on the same side as source, and source is always with us, and source holds us close in those moments where we feel that big fat disconnect. But when we're together on it, that's when we become unstoppable, right? So when it comes to money, the tough thing about money is, of course, we can't get away from it in most societies on the planet. Capitalist in nature, most of them, and you need it to purchase things for survival. We need it for food, we need it for clothing, we need it for shelter, we need it for entertainment, we need it for everything. So the tough thing is, of course, before you knew this work, when you didn't have it, you really felt, oh, I don't have it. Like, it really looms large. And believe me, I was there for several years. And it can loom so large that it can create disease in the body, which happened to me. I remember being very broke as I was trying to get my film and television career off the ground. And I felt so bad. I gave myself a big toothache that kind of was indicative of more. Like, it was a like, I don't know, like, is it just still a cavity when you need a root canal? Like maybe it's a cavity plus like a root issue. I don't know. Anyway, that's really pretty terrible pain that I lived with until I could get the appointment and get it seen, and then, oh, you need a root canal. But if I had known about this work back then and had been practicing it, that wouldn't have come about if my thoughts were in the direction of prosperity. They just weren't back then because I didn't know anything about this work. I wasn't there yet. And what little I did know, I kind of fought with, right? Because I just didn't believe it. And I didn't understand how to get myself to believing it. So, how to get yourself to believing it? Well, since we know that where attention goes, energy flows, since we know that what we look at expands, we can expand in directions of what serves us instead of what doesn't serve us. And we know that by how we feel. So if we think a thought that feels terrible, I'm not expanding in the direction of my desires. I mean, in a way you are, because anytime we do feel terrible and we don't do something about it, we make our desire bigger. So that is something that cannot be understated. I made this huge desire that I have all this resistance towards. Oh, my desire is huge. And that's good. We want big desire, right? So it doesn't hurt you, because when you know really strongly what you don't want, you know really strongly what you do want. So when I discovered this work and learned about how when emotion is left untended, it can turn to dis-ease in the body, and I could look back on my life and look at times like when I had that big toothache, I could see how the balance of my thoughts was towards what I didn't want. The balance of my thoughts was not serving me. And once you see something like that, you can't unsee it. There is no regression. We can't unsee that stuff. So our job at that point then is to flip those thoughts, is to change the balance of our thinking, is to get into our imagination and create what we want. Thoughts become things. And then things will change. They will change around. They will. So when it comes to, and this is referencing the lovely lady that brought up, I've been trying to get this free coffee and it hasn't happened. So it is all about telling our new story around abundance and getting things for free. And we can take the pressure off of ourselves by noticing what we already have. Because when you notice what you already have and you are appreciative toward it, gratitude work, it multiplies. It really does. And I'm proof of this, because I mentioned at the beginning of the month, I went through a financial difficulty, which was solved. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, God within. And what we can do is start by noticing what you do have presently. So it is some 3D work, but it's good 3D work, because we're looking at what we do like and do want more of. Because when we look at something we like and we are appreciative of it, more things that we appreciate will join that thought. It's inevitable. It just takes a little bit of focus to do this, and it becomes really easy to do. So you can either write it down, or you can say it out loud, or you can say it in your imagination, but I recommend writing it down or saying it out loud, because it makes it more powerful, right? Your words are your bond. Your words are powerful. That's why I am statements are so gorgeous. And we'll talk about that in another video. But this right now is about noticing what we have already. So what I did was I made a list of what I had already, okay? So I said, well, I have a fully stocked pantry. I have food in my fridge and my freezer. I have a place to live. I have friends, dear, dear, dear friends. I have invites to social gatherings. I have this knowledge that I've been studying for a long time that I really love and resonate with. I have beautiful books that have shared said knowledge with me. I have access to something like YouTube, which is free on my phone, and there's so much there that always satisfies me and soothes me and helps me get better at being able to deliver messages to people like you. So when you start building a list out like that, one thing Abraham says is you can notice something is lovely and say, just very, very gently, thank you, more please. Because you're allowing more of the goodness to flow to you by asking for it in a strong way, from a strong place of knowing you deserve it. Because when you say thank you, gratitude, appreciation, and then welcoming in more, that's the ball game. That is the ball game. And what I noticed was I was coming from a real place of lack for a while, and it showed up as a cold, and I haven't been sick in over a year and a half, because of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy. If anyone's struggling with their health, this is your book. This is your Bible. It will change it all if you apply these principles. And funny joke about me, of course, because I am recording this in, like the selfie mode, I guess, the mirror mode. I couldn't read it, but you guys could, because when I watched my video back, y'all could read it. So that's pretty funny. So a little joke on myself there. But anyway, yeah, this is your book for health issues. So anyway, back to my cold. So I knew that something wasn't right. I knew that something was up because I've been practicing good health for a very long time. And like nothing would touch me. Like nothing would touch me. Like I ended up working with someone who had COVID. I never got it. Like all of that because I was so clear about being in my fullest of health, like Jesus says, you see others in their fullest of health when they have an illness. So I just saw that for myself. And I did, one of the examples is when you have, like, if a cough shows up, you just say, oh, this affliction is temporary and is passing away. And nothing ever developed, ever. And the one time I had food poisoning, it wasn't that bad, like it passed very quickly. So I don't really count that as an illness, you know what I mean? So I was feeling really healthy, but I had a balance of thoughts towards lack about my financial situation, and I let it develop into a cold because I didn't take care of those thoughts. I let them grow. I let them go because it's been a slow year in my industry, and I hadn't sought enough outside employment. I had some, but I didn't seek enough outside employment to be able to afford my lifestyle. So once I started realizing that, and I did need some help from my coach, and so that helped me a great deal, immensely. It was like, okay, we have to turn this around, and we have to turn it around by starting and looking at what we already have and being appreciative of it. And then, of course, doing prosperity-based affirmations, like again from Joseph Murphy's book, by day and by night, I am being prospered in all of my interests. You can say that on a daily basis to help things, and it really does work. It really does work. And I remember it working for me last year. I made a video about this last year where I got turned down for a painting contract that was, probably maybe like $1,500 worth of work. And I ended up getting a job on a TV show, which would be, probably more like $12,000 or $13,000 in take-home pay over the course of several weeks. So much more prosperous than the thing that I first didn't get. So again, I did make my desire bigger by that one thing not working out, and I did transmute the emotion. So I was in a place where this is working out. So I highly recommend those kind of things when you notice something, like her with the coffee, the lady with the coffee that hasn't coming. Oh, well then, I'm not just going to get a free coffee, am I? No. I'm going to get free meals. I'm going to get a free trip. Like, go wild in your imagination, because that's where it all starts, right? That's where it all begins. And tell that new story of prosperity. So I tell a new prosperity story every day to allow things to come to me. And it started to work quite quickly. I had a lot of friends. My one friend had too much room in her fridge, so she gave me a bunch of food. Over Christmas, she didn't have room in her fridge for the leftovers, so I was gifted with food for a week, because her fridge was already full, and so she didn't have room for all the new stuff. Perfect, right? Perfect. I was gifted with sales. I was gifted with finding that coffee card that I found day before yesterday. So it is about attention. So when you place your attention firmly on what you do want, more thoughts like that will join it. So, and being grateful for what you already have welcomes more in, right? That doesn't halt it. That opens the floodgate of prosperity, the floodgate of money. And it's good to not always look at money for money's sake. Look at money as a means. Money loves me. Money always comes to me easily. I use it in good feeling ways. And again, the celebration of when I spend, someone else succeeds. When I spend, I aid in their prosperity. And if it's a win-win, then we both rise. We both rise. We can reject the adage that there's not enough to go around. We can reject if I'm winning, someone must lose. We can reject all of that because it feels terrible to think, so therefore it's not true. It doesn't serve us. So those are some things about prosperity that I wanted to mention for the gal I was coaching a little bit. Hope this helps her and helps all of us, and even reminds me just to remember to really, really be grateful and be pleased. And just more is coming. And one of my favorite things, every time and I said this last time, but it's worth repeating, every time I pay with my bank card, there's more where that came from. There's more where that came from. And I'm going to do that especially with rent, because I struggled a little last year to pay rent. And that's okay. That's just an old story. I'm not going to focus on it. No. Every time I pay my rent, I'm just going to see paying it from a really big bank balance. Oh, here I'm paying rent. Oh, but look at how much I have left over. And oh, it's always growing. My wealth increases daily. Day by day, night by night, day by day and by night, I'm being prospered in all of my interests. So take that down deep in your spirit, that you are abundant. Create some I am statements, such as I am financially abundant. Sometimes it's good to put that in there. And this went longer than I meant again, but I think these are all important things to keep in the forefront of your mind if prosperity is something you want to build. And make sure that you are in your imagination spending as much as you want. In my imagination, I pay for my parents' travel because they were the ones who were kind enough to bail me out for December. So now I work for them. This channel is for them. And now I get to prove that this stuff works by believing it so hard that it has no choice but to come to me, by practicing what I know so much that it is my second nature. And it is in many areas of my life. And it's okay that it's not in this one yet, but watch me. Just watch me, because in a few months it will be so obvious that everyone else will be able to see it too. And I'll be able to tell you guys all about it. So that's on prosperity. Just a few more things that we can keep in the forefront of our mind. And just, more is coming. Yeah, right? More is coming is a good one too, because people can say, oh, well, if you say more is coming, that means it's not here right now. That's getting like dogmatic about it and lost in the nitty gritty. Just don't do that to yourself. Whatever sounds best to you is right for you. And both of them may be right at different times, or even at the same time. More is coming and I have it now. Why not? Because it is our Father's good pleasure. The kingdom of heaven is within. It is our Father's good pleasure to give it to us. Right? So that's the God force part of you attempting to become alive in the physical body. Let it become alive. Your imagination can be so rich. It can be your dominant place. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. That's tomorrow's video. We're going to talk about how to make your imagination the most dominant place ever. But the stuff will eventually show up in your 3D. It will happen. Okay. Again, too long. My bad. I will be more concise next time. But again, I think these are really good things to think about and consider. So thank you for considering them with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my subscribers. I appreciate you so much. And we're just going to grow a really fun community here. And we're going to keep talking about all this stuff. We're going to talk more about SPs. We're going to have so much fun. Please throw something down in the comments if you would like me to reframe anything for you. I am here for it. Reframing is my jam. So thank you. And let's have a gorgeous day, people. All right. Love ya. Bye.